really know what makes a great city work, you have to peel back its skin and expose its secret life force. A system of incredible complexity and technology that millions depend on, but few understand. A fantastic voyage now begins, a journey deep inside the world's megacities. It sits at the crossroads of Asia, at the intersection between the past and the future. On the southwest coast of Taiwan is the burgeoning megacity of Kaohsiung. It is the industrial heart of Taiwan and home to one of the most critical shipping ports in the world. Known as the City of Lights, this new world metropolis is quickly becoming a beacon for all to see. And at night, this beacon glitters like a polished diamond. At no time is this more evident than this night, the annual Lantern Festival. According to legend, the festival celebrates the lengthening of daylight and the coming of spring. Citizens bring traditional lanterns adorned with the symbols of the new year. Above them, laser light shows and fireworks dance across the sky. It is a striking contrast between modern and tradition, between the past and the future. And for Kaohsiung, the future shines bright. But this diamond in the rough didn't always sparkle. This is the way it was just a decade ago. The city, an industrial wasteland. The skies, thick with smog. And the Love River, filled with garbage and devoid of life.
In the past, the Love River served as an industrial canal in Kaohsiung. Due to the industrial development of the area, the Love River began to get increasingly polluted.
Professor Charles Lean was the director of the Urban Development Bureau in Kaohsiung. He was tasked to clean up the river.
Nobody wanted to go to the river, as it had been abused outright, and no fish could be found there.
The Love River was regarded as the ugliest landmark in the city. And in 1971, the government officially declared it dead. That was then. This is now. Shady parks and winding paths dot the landscape. Universities, cafes, and museums adorn tree-lined avenues, and the restored Love River carries young romantics on a current of optimism.
So look at the river now. According to annual local statistics, fish are back. Tourism returns. It has survived the major transition.
The river was just the first step in an ongoing endeavor to reinvent the city. A decade ago, Kaohsiung embarked on a Herculean effort to go green that continues today. If Kaohsiung's transformation is a medical procedure, it would be open-heart surgery in a city in the throes of cardiac arrest. This steel mill is the biggest business in Kaohsiung. It was also its dirtiest. The plant's carbon dioxide emissions alone once accounted for 42% of the city's total. This former polluter was once public enemy number one. But today, they've become a model citizen. China Steel has spent millions on cutting-edge green technologies, and the progress is crystal clear.
Pollution is the enemy of Kaohsiung City. We need to have a higher quality for the industry and for the environment.
Xiao Huan is an engineer at the mill. It's his job to maximize production. while minimizing pollution. And that presents a challenge, because from start to finish, steelmaking is a dirty business.
Generally, an integrated steel mill will produce a great amount of heat and exhausted gases during the process.
But China Steel has added innovative technologies at many stages of production. The first step in the process, and one that consumes the most energy, is the coke oven. Coke is a solid carbon fuel made from coal. It is used to heat the plant's blast furnaces and melt iron ore. The coke is heated in large ovens called batteries. But heating an endless supply of coke uses the most energy in the mill. The solution? Put the coke to work to create electricity.
This is the coke dry quenching cart. The heat of the coke, which temperature is 1000 degrees Celsius, is recovered by cooling gas and utilized to produce steam that can be used to generate electricity.
And it all begins with fire. Each coke bucket is lifted to the top of the 52-meter tower. It is rolled into position over the massive, dry quenching chamber and then opened, releasing the coke. As the coke cascades down, a jet of cool combustion air is fed into the chamber, turning the glowing coals into an inferno. The superheated air, nearly 1000 degrees Celsius, is channeled to a boiler filled with cool water. The blast of heat vaporizes the water in the boiler to steam. The high-pressure steam is used to spin the blades of a turbine, which generates electricity. And then the entire process begins again. They have slashed 210,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions per year using the coke dry quenching process. But the real problem with coke is that it's made of carbon. In the blazing furnaces of a steel mill, a dangerous collaboration takes place. The carbon combines with oxygen to make both carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. But the furnaces now have added technologies to recapture or recycle pollutants.
The blast furnace is equipped with a dust removal facility. Through this dust removal facility, dust dispersal can be prevented.
340,000 tons of dust particulates are captured annually, the weight of over 1,500 Boeing 747s that used to go up in smoke. And wastewater is now treated too.
We have recently adopted a new technology to recycle and purify industrial wastewater, even sewage for reuse. It is a very advanced technology.
Technology capable of recycling 97% of the plant's wastewater, reducing discharges of lubrication oil and rust into the water supply. In the end, this mill can produce over 12 million tons of steel each year. Enough to build the Eiffel Tower 1,700 times over. But it's what they don't produce that counts.
After all these efforts, after more than 20 years since this plant was opened, the emission of greenhouse gases has been reduced more than 20%. It is quite an achievement.
It's a transformation that has helped redefine the city. But Kaohsiung's greatest transformation began 50 years ago with an unprecedented economic boom. And with it, a Faustian bargain that pushed the environment to the brink. In southern Taiwan, a revolution has begun. a call to arms against a common foe. In the ongoing fight against runaway pollution and global warming, an entire metropolis has taken a stand. In the last decade, the city of Kaohsiung has been waging a green battle and winning. And few signs of progress are as powerful as this. 84 countries, nearly 3,000 athletes in the first Olympic-related event to be hosted in Taiwan. In the summer of 2009, the World Games were held in Kaohsiung. A big statement that this small city had finally made it. And to mark the occasion, a revolutionary new venue. A stadium like no other. But to discover this stadium's secret identity, you can't look inside. You have to look up. Covering the structure are nearly 9,000 solar panels. Over 14,000 square meters of potential power. The building can supply 75% of its own energy needs just from the roof. And as the sun moves, the curve of the roof absorbs enough solar radiation to power its 3,300 lights. When no events are scheduled, the electricity fuels 4/5 of the surrounding neighborhood. It's a powerhouse of green energy, right in the heart of Kaohsiung.
Currently, this is the largest track and field stadium in the world, with solar panels installed on the roof.
Xie Qiyan is the stadium director. From sunup to sunset, she's the most powerful woman in Kaohsiung.
We are standing under the solar panels. There are 8,844 panels, generating 1.1 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year, thus reducing 660 tons of annual carbon dioxide output.
Every watt generated means less need to burn coal or oil. But tapping Mother Nature means playing all the right angles. The stadium is oriented with a variable 15-degree angle to match the transit of the sun during the day.
The open C shape of the stadium allows maximum solar reception. Being situated in Kaohsiung gives the stadium a great advantage, which is good weather.
Kaohsiung is called the City of Light for a reason. It has the most hours of direct sunlight of any city in Taiwan. And the solar roof provides double duty. It also keeps the hot sun off the crowd.
The solar roof panels act as shelter from the sun. On the other hand, they receive solar energy in order to generate electricity.
Form and function, all under one roof. And a bold statement of intent to the world. But it's not the first time Kaohsiung has made a big impression. In the 1960s, Taiwan suddenly emerged as a leader in manufacturing. The small island's success was so dramatic, it became known as the Taiwan Miracle. And Kaohsiung became the industrial engine that drove the country. But a price had to be paid for its success. The port exploded in size. Factories ran day and night. And a blanket of smog enveloped the city. To turn back the tide of pollution, change had to start within the industrial nerve center of Kaohsiung. This is the port of Kaohsiung. 5 terminals, 118 berths, 61 giant gantry cranes carry out the daily dance of loading and offloading cargo containers. Along the channel, 2 entrances and 4 massive turning basins to position ships. Over 2,600 square hectares of monstrous ships, factories, and refineries.
We are the 6th largest container port in the world. You can see all those containers behind me. The port of Kaohsiung is definitely a very busy and very important port in Taiwan.
Su Jingrong is in charge of planning and construction at Kaohsiung Harbor, and the port's success is his problem. Each year, up to 10 million containers cross these docks. Laid end to end, they could circle the Earth 1.5 times. That kind of volume means a ship must arrive, dock, unload its cargo, reload with new containers, restock its supplies, and depart, all in under 16 hours. Speed is critical, because space is running out.
The current container port has reached its maximum capacity. It is necessary for us to expand to the outer sea.
To keep this megaport on the world map, Rong is planning big. The port of Kaohsiung currently stretches 12 kilometers, from its northern entrance to the southernmost berth. Each year, more than 100,000 container ships enter, load, unload, and exit. 5 terminals and 118 berths pushed to the limit. To make room for the future, they can't build in. They need to build out. Port of Kaohsiung will soon expand beyond the seawall. 421 hectares of new space will be added into the South China Sea. A new, wider main entrance. 2 terminals, containing 4 bulk cargo docks, 5 container wharfs, and 10 oil docks. 20 electrically driven gantry cranes will load and offload cargo. And 2 massive turning basins will be used to position ships. The new port of Kaohsiung, bigger, faster, and even cleaner.
Environmental conservation is a global agenda. In the shipping business, the port of Kaohsiung also takes notice of this trend.
The port expansion will include new water and waste disposal systems, air quality monitoring, additional radiation detection systems, and shore power.
When the ships are in port, they don't need to rely on the power generator on board, but directly connect to the power supply from shore. This will minimize the CO2 emissions.
And to manage it all, a high-tech command center. This is the VTC control tower at Kaohsiung Harbor. Vincent Wang is the tower master. If the daily movement of ships is a symphony, then Wang is its conductor.
When a vessel is approaching, we can detect it no matter if it reports to us or not. As long as we can detect it, we can control it.
Wang controls the comings and goings of every boat in the harbor, almost 100,000 vessels each year.
We use many new technologies, for example, new operating systems and new software.
like the AIS, or Automatic Identification System. Each vessel is electronically tagged while still at sea. The port's computers can determine the ship's identity, type, course, speed, and even cargo. Today, he's tracking the tanker Pro Alliance, painted red to signify danger. The ship is laden with over 700,000 barrels of oil. Preventing spills and other environmental disasters is the highest priority at Kaohsiung, and every precaution is taken.
For ships containing dangerous goods, there will be 2 harbor pilots. There will be passage steering boats. We will then inform the outer sea controller to pay special attention to that ship.
In short, the Pro Alliance gets a police escort into the harbor, clearing the way until it is docked.
We also inform other ships about the approaching of that particular ship, so that they will keep a safe distance from it.
Ships like the Pro Alliance must now adhere to a higher standard. In Kaohsiung, even the ships have gone green. CSBC is one of the world's biggest shipbuilders.
We can build at least 4 ships at the same time in this shipyard.
LIorszáu manages hull construction at the yard. To build the ships of the future, he uses one of the largest dry docks in the world.
The size of the dry dock, from the gate to the front, the total length is 940 meters, and the width is 80 meters. It is considered a 1,000,000 tons dry dock.
To speed construction time, ships are prefabricated in as many as 480 different sections. Known as block construction, each section is then lowered onto the ship's superstructure using 2 massive cranes.
We have 2 350-ton Goliath cranes. There's one over there. They are number 1 and number 2 cranes. Combined, they can carry 630 tons of weight.
Equal in weight to 400 passenger cars. The final step, welding the section into place. From start to finish, they can complete a container ship in less than 12 months. And every ship here has gone green. From the keel up, they're built with the environment in mind.
We can also see the new ship design requires double bottom and double hull.
Double hulled means double safety. If the ship runs aground or has a collision in port or at sea, the reinforced second hull can prevent a fuel or oil spill. And future ships will be even more revolutionary.
As for the design, we try to make the ship smoother. That is, to reduce the water resistance during its navigation.
New hull designs will include vents beneath the waterline to release microbubbles into the water. These bubbles create a slick boundary layer around the hull. Tests have shown that the bubbles alone can reduce drag by up to 80%. And pushing these massive ships, new super-efficient propellers.
We have invented propellers with a high degree of curvature. The curvature here is rather high. Less resistance is created during sailing. It has a greater water-cutting ability, which enables faster sailing. Fast sailing in return will reduce energy consumption.
With the hull completed and painted, the dry dock will be flooded and the ship will float for the first time. After final outfitting and sea trials, it will deliver to the customer. This ship will soon call upon Kaohsiung, where it will join an ever-growing fleet of more eco-friendly container ships. And at Terminal 5, the next generation container ship, Ever Summit, is unloading. For the last 12 hours, cargo has been moved on and off this ship. Over 1,600 containers in total. Roughly 2 every minute. And in the next few minutes, it will cast off and move on. At the helm is Captain Wong Wen-liang. The Ever Summit is departing Kaohsiung for Los Angeles. Over a 17-year career, he's seen Kaohsiung's transformation from the most unique vantage point.
When I was on board in the past, the sky was dark when we entered the port. Now we can see the sunlight. In the past, there was garbage all over the sea. Now it is very clean.
So is the Ever Summit. Today, this ship is part of the solution.
It is about the prevention of marine pollution and air pollution. Our ships are designed based on green ideas.
The Ever Summit has a double hull to prevent spills. Low sulfur fuel systems to reduce emissions. And an oily water separator to reduce water pollution. Most importantly, a captain with a new way of thinking.
People have a better concept. Everyone is getting better. Every time I come back, the port of Kaohsiung is getting better.
And with it, the city. Kaohsiung is now striving to balance economy with ecology, industry with innovation, and even the people are singing a different tune. Every day, the residents of the Taiwanese city of Kaohsiung wake to the sound of music. And the balladeers that call to them draw them out by the thousands. It's the theme song of the new Kaohsiung. It's the singing recycling truck.
We interact with each other. We have a good relationship. We have a good relationship with the people in the city.
For Li Jingying, this is not just a job, it's a calling card. 6 days a week, twice a day, she comes by in her singing truck.
When they see me, they are happy too. They come out to dump their trash.
And there are 297 more trucks just like this in the city. Kaohsiung produces over 1,200 tons of garbage daily. Enough to fill 164 Olympic swimming pools each year. And much of it used to end up on the streets. In 1989, 60% of Kaohsiung's garbage was properly collected. Today, 99%. With the truck full, Lin heads to the city recycling center. Today, the recycling rate in Taiwan has reached 42%, higher than Japan, the UK, and even the United States.
We can help with the environment and improve the environment. The people are happy to see us. I feel happy.
A rebirth through recycling. And in Kaohsiung, even the garbage that can't be recycled has a chance at reincarnation. Two decades ago, this place was a black eye on Kaohsiung. Today, it's a golden goose. The Kaohsiung Metropolitan Park is an urban oasis, where contented residents come to stroll, exercise, and even dance. But beneath the park's benign facade lies a dirty secret. 9 million tons of garbage. This was once the largest landfill in Taiwan. Today, there's no sign of it, except for this. On the far corner of the park sits the Shiqingpu energy plant. Inside are 3 power generators creating a steady stream of electricity. But this small plant doesn't run on coal or oil. It runs on garbage, and a lot of it. For 22 years, trash piled up on this site. But instead of being left exposed, the trash was covered by a polyethylene blanket, like plastic, then by several meters of topsoil. As garbage decomposes, it produces methane gas. The gas is trapped by the blankets and extracted through 135 vertical tubes. From the tubes, 3,000 cubic meters of gas every hour is channeled into 12 collectors, then piped to the power plant. The gas fuels 3 1,800 horsepower generators producing electricity. A natural alchemy that turns trash into treasure. And a few tubes are all that betray the landfill's existence.
This is the methane gas collector in Kaohsiung Shichangpu landfill.
Shang Tai is the plant manager.
In Shichangpu landfill, there are altogether 12 collectors. Each methane gas collector has about 10 wells. Each pipe goes 15 meters underground.
As gas accumulates, it's piped from the collectors to the plant. In the final stage, the gas fuels 3 generators.
Behind me is the methane gas power generator. Inside are blowers and methane engines. The maximum capacity of each power generator is 1,361 watts per hour.
The electricity they produce goes directly to the power grid. 2,700 kilowatts of electricity every hour. 23 million kilowatts annually.
That is enough to supply power to 4,600 households.
But the benefits aren't just power production. That's because landfill gases are greenhouse gases.
The major constituents of landfill gas are methane, CH4, CO2, and other small substances. Methane is not properly treated, it will leak to the outside.
The plant reduces the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere by over 5,000 tons per year, equal in volume to eliminating over 20,000 cars, or planting almost 12,000 hectares of trees. This plant will produce energy for about 20 years. Then the decomposition of garbage will naturally slow down, and the amount of methane will taper off. Then the pipes and plant will be removed, leaving only the park behind. Begging the old adage, out of sight, out of mind. But for now, Kaohsiung needs the extra power for projects like this. Nothing symbolizes a city in transition like the MRT. Kaohsiung Mass Rapid Transit has two lines, one running north-south, the other east-west. It spans 42.7 kilometers of track. Dotting the line are a total of 37 stations. 3-car trains with a capacity of over 800 people run every 6 minutes. 8 of the 10 above-ground stations are elevated, cutting down street-level congestion. But only 20% of the MRT is above ground. The remaining 80% runs beneath the city. The MRT has 27 stations below ground, and each has modern innovations, including platform screen doors. They protect passengers and allow for trains to depart and arrive faster. The final MRT plan is for 11 lines, stretching to every corner of Kaohsiung. It's the new lifeline of a city on the move. And in a city bent on projecting a clean image, keeping a clean house is paramount. Kaohsiung's MRT is in its infancy, and the workers pamper their system like a newborn baby. Each day, trains are washed inside and out. Cleanliness projects confidence. Nobody understands the need for public confidence better than Wang Pengkai. He's a train conductor on the new Kaohsiung MRT, and the safety of hundreds of riders depends on him.
This is a job that requires your full attention, since nobody can predict if an emergency will occur during your operation.
Today, he's already experienced 3 such emergencies: a fire, a typhoon, and an earthquake. This is the MRT's simulator room. Conductors hone their skills, playing out worst-case scenarios.
There are many kinds of emergencies that may not be possible for operators to encounter in real-life situations. As a result, we can better prepare ourselves to handle these emergencies in real life.
The simulator recreates a virtual duplicate of the MRT system, and it can produce almost any conceivable emergency.
For example, trespassing or strange objects found on the tracks, or maybe even fires, windstorms, these kinds of climatic conditions.
And even jumpers. But the MRT has a safety net to make sure nobody accidentally ends up on the tracks. All underground MRT platforms have automated screen doors, keeping passengers off the tracks. They also allow trains to enter the stations at higher speed, reducing draft and air pressure, and making platforms quieter and cleaner. And in keeping with Kaohsiung's green motto, they save energy. On hotter days, they allow the stations to be air-conditioned at lower cost, reducing electricity use by 20%. For Wang Pengkai, Kaohsiung's transformation is occurring at 90 kilometers per hour.
Because of this job, I have witnessed the growth and changes of Kaohsiung. I can also serve the Kaohsiung people, making the city more beautiful and more energetic. It makes me really happy.
Marian Chang is a manager at the MRT. It's her job to get riders on board. And as of now, they're missing the train. Ridership has actually been lower than expected. In Kaohsiung, some old habits die hard.
Most of the citizens prefer riding the motorbikes or driving the private cars.
And motorbikes are a big part of the problem. Taiwan has the highest density of scooters in the world, a total of 11 million bikes for a population of 23 million. That's almost one motorbike for every 2 people. And each one adds to air and noise pollution.
Kaohsiung MRT started running 2 years ago. We're trying to learn and try to encourage most of the citizens of Kaohsiung to take the public transportation system.
The final obstacle is one that has plagued the city for decades.
In the past, the people from the other city will joke about that Kaohsiung is a desert of culture, which is a kind of bad name they would try to clear.
To combat perception, the entire MRT system was made to be beautiful. The platforms and terminals were designed by world-renowned architects. And within each station, mood lighting, murals, and public art.
It's a new way of behaviors, and it's a new thinking process, and also new thoughts about how to make the environment better. And you can do it all by ourselves, starting by ourselves.
But in a city of big changes, it's the little things that add up. Over the past decade, Kaohsiung has planted trees along sidewalks and roads, added over 100 kilometers of bike paths, and installed new street lights using LEDs powered by solar cells. They are now saving the city 640 kilowatts per year. Most notably, Kaohsiung has created nearly 700 hectares of parks and green spaces. And that has residents breathing easy. In just 16 years, the city has halved its number of days with a poor air quality rating. And in 2010, the city of Kaohsiung will merge with the surrounding Kaohsiung County, making for even more parkland. It has been a total makeover on all levels. One that was realized by returning to their roots. In an age where going green is a catchphrase, some cities talk tough. For the Taiwanese city of Kaohsiung, actions speak louder than words. But their most important green achievement is harder to detect. Kaohsiung is cultivating young minds. This is the Kaohsiung Wetland Park, a diverse ecosystem near the heart of the city. Today, it looks more like a playground, but the park has an ulterior motive.
The goal of this park is to provide an area for ecology education in Kaohsiung.
Lin Kunghai is the General Secretary of the Kaohsiung Wild Bird Society. 10 years ago, he identified a big environmental problem.
Our traditional teaching is learning from the textbooks, without going to the outside for observation. This makes students feel distant from the nature and the ecology.
Lin's solution: bring the children to nature. He runs a camp for children, all to educate Kaohsiung's next generation.
The advantages of the environment of this wetland park are to allow people to see, to touch, and to feel. In this case, they know what is ecology and why we need to protect the environment.
The park itself is a Kaohsiung success story. Originally used as a discharge area from a nearby treatment plant, today it's flourishing with life. More than 30 species of birds, 100 varieties of plants, and 22 types of butterflies call it home. An unrivaled environmental classroom.
You can see there are many happy children here. They are picking flowers, or chasing after butterflies, or observing. Then they will discover that the environment is related to plants and living organisms. It will leave them a deep impression.
An additional 86 hectares of green space are in the works for the city, and for Lien, the prospect of more school programs.
We're spreading a message, which is for the government, the general public, and the children to learn about the importance of the environment.
And the message has been heard loud and clear. And the results are obvious. A higher standard of living is enjoyed by Kaohsiung residents. High-tech businesses are replacing factories and foundries. And the arterial heart of the city, the symbolic Love River, now beats in time with the hopes of a people.
The most crucial significance of Kaohsiung's transformation is that Kaohsiung citizens have changed their minds greatly. In the past, nobody was willing to say they were from Kaohsiung. Now the word Kaohsiung has new meaning. We all think that that is the most amazing change of the city. That is to claim, we are Kaohsiung people.
And in the continuing fight against pollution, the Kaohsiung people are hard at work. Their ongoing effort now serves as a model for megacities worldwide. And for the City of Light, the future is truly bright.